Today we are talking about how a narcissist manipulates you. So this is for you if you have a friend who is constantly attracting narcissists and you're like, WTF, I don't get it, why? Or if you keep attracting narcissists, or if you are a narcissist, then I can count on you for leaving a snarky comment on my accent. Okay, I've got my notes, I have my coffee. I'm gonna really do my best to get the hairs out of my lip gloss. And how a narcissist manipulates you. It is so effed up. Yeah, funk. It is funked up. If you were raised with somebody who gave emotional abuse, I don't even care if they're a narcissist or not, if they gaslighted you, if they shamed you, if they blamed you, if they devalued you, if they discard you, if they hoover you, if they do all these really narcissistic, emotionally abusive things to you, does it matter if we call them a narcissist or not? If somebody is being abusive to you, does it matter what name you call it? Does it really? I think the thing that really matters is the abuse. And narcissists love the semantics around it. But let's focus on the abuse so that we can stop. There are some major problems that I'm going to talk about here about how they manipulate you. 7 ways that they can get you to play their BS game for your whole life if you're not really cognizant of it. And it's so confusing, and they love to twist and turn and make you so confused because you're easier to control that way. So the first thing is, especially if you were raised with somebody who treated you in this manner, you're not an idiot. You're actually really smart. You learn from a very young age how to please the unpleasable so that you would get maybe beaten less, right? Or you get abused less. And I don't mean to make light of it or joke about it, but that's the actual truth. You were avoiding more pain by allowing yourself to be manipulated. And when you were a kid, you didn't know what the heck was going on. You trusted this primary caregiver that they know how to love. They're teaching you how to love. So you're just trusting them. You just got to this planet. You don't know any better. So you're learning from them. And while inherently it probably didn't feel good to you, you quickly learned, well, they're telling me I'm getting treated this way because it's my fault. So it must be my fault. So I must adjust what I'm doing, adjust who I am. And if they're emotionally abusive, they may say, it's because you look this way, it's because you sound this way, it's because you do these things. And that's very confusing as a kid because yes, you are learning boundaries and you are learning rules. But if you're learning the rules are from the beginning that you make people upset because you're not good enough, that's a really hard compass to live your whole entire life by. After being told for years, possibly, however long you've been in relationships like this, that you've done it wrong, that if only you tried it harder, if only you did it right. That's why a lot of times the victims, the targets of this kind of abuse, end up in therapy for years. Because they are interested, because we are interested. How can I be better? How can I be better? I've been trying to learn how to be better since I was 2 years old so that I wouldn't be beaten. So then when the narcissist, when you're an adult, says something snarky to you like, well, have you ever thought that you're not perfect? It's like, duh, that's what I've been working with my entire life. So yes, narcissist, yes, I have thought of that. So you're probably thinking the same thing. Yes, I have thought of that. That's why I'm watching this video. How can I be better? How can I deepen what I know? How can I, at first it's really, how can I serve the narcissist? How can I not make them mad? How can I get them to approve of me? And they manipulate you in that way because if it's your primary caregiver, of course you want their approval. It's somebody who you're living with every single day. It's how you get fed, quite literally. In clothes, you don't have a job at 2 years old. Your job is to please that caregiver so you can get XYZ. That is your first job. And if you're told from a very young age that you're already doing your job incorrectly, you're not cute enough, smart enough, nice enough, whatever enough, you're going to try harder. Okay, so that's the first basis. Sometimes it starts later on. But then regardless, once you've attracted one in your life, and when you were a baby, you go, well, how did I attract that guy? That's a whole nother conversation that maybe we'll have in another video. How did we attract our parents? How did we attract? I don't know. This is a very interesting topic, but nonetheless, they were in your life. So now that you're a human on the planet and you've been going through your deal, regardless if they were your caregiver or your first love or your first whoever, your caregiver often is your first love. It's not a romantic love, but it's somebody who you trust and love. Then you're going to start attracting more and more and more of these types because, see, you've already learned from a young age that this is how the world works. This is how people who love you treat you. And you better just do better. It's your fault. You got to do better. So if you had an experience as a kid where, a parent was absent, you might immediately have told yourself this story. If I had been a better kid, I would have mom and dad. When it had nothing to do with you. But you took that on as a young age. I know I did. My dad was, working, and that's another story that we'll get into too sometime, maybe. But I told myself that story, not good enough. So that's how it started. I'm like, well, my dad's not around, so clearly I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for him. I'm not good for... And so I just started this people-pleasing thing. Because I was like, maybe if I'll be good enough, he'll be around. Maybe if I make him happy enough, he'll be there. But that wasn't the case. That was what I had told myself. Because I was a kid. You don't have the emotional maturity to understand these things. And this was the 80s, and we didn't talk about our emotions. It was just rub dirt on it. Nobody talked about it. So I'll get into my whole upbringing, but my parents did the best that they could with what they knew at the time. I'm an adult now. You're an adult now. So it's up to you to take the reins. It's nobody else's fault. So that's where you're not a victim. It's time to really take charge of this stuff. So if you were set up that way, that's what you learned. Then you attract friends, co-workers, spouses, everybody to treat you this way. So it's your norm, even though it's really out of the normal. It's not the way most people live. It becomes normal because you attract people who mistreat you everywhere. You'll attract friends like that, bosses, even employees. You could be an employer and attract employees like that. I have done that. You'll be people-pleasing your employees. You'll be not making any money, bending over backwards. You could lose a business. I know stories about that. That didn't happen to me. Thankfully, I've been able to continue. But my God, you can hang on by a thread after you've had so much of this abuse. It can be so crazy making the gaslighting. And when you're getting it from every which direction, your family, friends, coworkers, of course you're going to think it's you. Of course you are. That's why you're probably here. That's why you're probably figuring this out. And the narcissist will be like, yes, it's you, it's you, it's you. It's you, it's you, it's you, right? And then they just pile it on because they don't have any empathy. The only way that they can get to feel is by making you feel awful. So that's another thing that they love doing. Number 3, you begin to think that this is how life is. Because for them, life is not fun. It's not pleasant. And they want you to join in on that. They want you to assign yourself to that belief. I almost pulled my own hair out on that because it's like you want to pull your hair out. They want you to believe that life sucks. That there is no joy, that people are rude, that everyone mistreats everybody, that everyone manipulates everyone. And you see how this can create a perfect storm if you've attracted everybody to treat you this way? And if you speak up ever, they're like, victim. And then they just throw rocks at you and abandon you more. And so it just cycles and continues more. And if you speak up about it, like I am often, you become more of a target for it if you're not really aware. I mean, this has taken me years. I've been duped and duped and duped and duped. Finally, I'm like, fine, I'll just talk about it because it's the only thing I haven't done. So I gotta try different things. I can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. I've never talked about it because I never wanted people to go, oh, she's a victim. Wah, wah. Now I am, because I'm like, yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm so fed up. Whoo, I'm getting a little heated. It's getting old. I'm so sick of it. It could like make me mad and cry and everything at once. So you begin to think this is how they rob you of your life. And by the way, it's your fault. And it's your fault that people treat you this way. So not only is life this way, but it's your fault that life is this way. So then, of course, you begin to try to fix it even more and more and more. And you have more and more anxiety because the more you try to fix it, the more they abuse you and the more you attract people like that. So it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. They create a whole nightmare for you, even if they discarded you and aren't even around. Do you see how that happens? They want people to feel how they feel. Awful. So this is how they leave this behind. That's another reason why they have to discard, because they can't move on to new people and keep this cycle going, because eventually, you catch up to it, and it's a mess. Although they do come back, you could be in this cycle with one person your entire life. It's a nightmare. It's really, really difficult. So be grateful if your narcissist is not hoovering you. Am I getting like the elf ears now? It's like whenever I get mad in these videos, my ears start sticking out. They're like, see, I told you she's a leprechaun. I don't know, whatever. To do number 4 is guilt you. Guilt you. So if you're feeling good, they'll guilt you. Who are you to feel so good? Who are you? The world is suffering. Who are you? And then, because they want you to feel bad. If you feel bad, they'll guilt you. Why are you so negative? I don't want to be around you because you're too much of a darkness. They guilt you into doing what they want as if you're the only solution to their problem, because remember, you're the problem. So of course you're the only one to fix it. So they'll guilt you there. If you don't do this, I'll take away my love. I'll take away this. I'll punish you somehow. So guilt, a lot of guilt. The biggest thing that narcissists feel is shame. So they're running away from it, but they also are dishing it out. They want other people to feel it so that they feel better. Like, see, everyone feels shameful. It's not just me. Because see, remember, if you've watched previous videos of mine, or if you've researched other narcissist channels, or if you've just done your homework on this personality disorder, that narcissists and empaths were both born from a lot of times that childhood neglect, often by a narcissistic parent. And so either you become a narcissist and embody and mirror the parent who's treating you that way, or you become the people pleaser empath person who's like hypersensitive to attuning to everybody to be safe. So you can be safe. It's made me really good at my job because I can read behavior very well. The problem is when I really like somebody or I'm charmed by them, I don't want to think the worst. I want to think the best. And so sometimes I ignore these signs. But now I'm not going to anymore because it's like cost me too much. It's just cost me way too much. So I'm not doing it anymore. So number 6 is they get you either to isolate by your friends and family will start not wanting to hang out with you if you're in a narcissistic relationship, if they're healthy. If they're all narcissists and stuff, then it's just more supply for them because it'll feed to their drama and all that stuff. But otherwise, you'll begin to isolate yourself. But here's the thing. After narcissistic abuse, you want to isolate too, because you're like, oh my gosh, if the whole world is like this, and the only time my preferences and needs are met is if I'm on my own, it's much better to be on my own. Much better. So you start to isolate. And that's how they can keep you trapped too. Because again, you were open to a relationship. They were not. But see, now they're getting you to not be open to relationship just like them. Again, this is how they get you to be like them in a very insidious way. Although they're out having fun with their new supply because their cycle continues, but you're isolated. What they want is you isolated and feeling bad. They want you to give up. It's like I did a short video the other day with a guy who has a channel, and he talks, I've only watched a few of his videos, but a lot of them are geared around hating single moms and how you have no value if you're a single mom and things like that. And that only high value men would want XYZ, and if you're this of age, then you're no value. Just basically devaluing people. And he has a whole tribe of people that follow and say, you know, yes, well, you're our Messiah and everything. And we agree because we hate women too. And to that, I just say, what is your end game? Like, what are you trying to get? What is your intention? What is your intention, to just devalue people? Like, what do you want somebody to say? You're right. I have no value. Only a man deems my value and I messed up. See, they want you to do that because that is number 7. When you feel horrible, you're easier to control. When you feel like you have no value, or you messed up, and you messed up on something that you can never retrieve, like your age, then you're much easier to control and accept anything, accept scraps. So that's how they get to manipulate you. And there's so many more ways than that. And it's like, oh, I'm going to add a number 8 here. Because then when you're feeling good, they come back in and hoover you and say they've changed. And then you want to play into their good nature and everything. And because it was your fault, see, and then that's how they can trauma bond you. And then you go back into this whole cycle of abuse again. And also the feeling awful part, the wanting to dish that out on you, that's why often they make these big grandiose discards, because the more they can knock you off balance, the better they feel. Because again, remember, they're trying to run away from shame. So when they're running away from shame, they have to quickly get rid of you, get a new supply. Well, they already had that, you know, they were already working on that before they discard you. That's why a narcissist gets really mad if you leave them first and they don't have somebody lined up. Oh my God, you're going to get some major love bomb, hoover, abuse, defame, like all of it in cycles. You know, like, I hate you, you're the worst person ever, come back to me, what's wrong with you? You know, that sort of stuff. But if they discard you, it's because they've already been working on somebody and they're excited. They can't wait to get rid of you, to get on with the new supply, and also defaming you so that all their flying monkeys and everybody can go, yeah, stupid victim. Oh, look at her talking about narcissists or whatever. And they're already on to the next, and they can leave that shame bucket with you while you're sitting here going, wait a minute. And then you almost don't even want to date anybody or anything because you're thinking, why would I ever put myself out there again? You trust somebody slowly and they're a narcissist, then the abuse is just going to be postponed and elongated. If it goes quickly, it's just like bam. So when you've had this kind of abuse and these are the type of people you attract, you're like, I don't want anything to do with any of that. You might be feeling like that. Comment below if you're feeling like that. If you've had narcissistic abuse and you're like, I'm good on my own. I'm totally good. I don't need your shame. I'd rather be on my own. I'm here to impart wisdom from horrible experiences that I've had to maybe relate, to heal, and to also give hope to people who have been through this, because I've had an acting studio now for 10 years and we're totally online if you want to take acting classes or go deeper into this stuff, because what I really study is human behavior and we do it through the craft of acting. So if you're interested in diving into your healing in a different kind of way through the creative arts and really getting in touch with what you want, because that's another thing after narcissistic abuse, you may not even know what you like. So after 10 years of having my studio, the past 10 years, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year, so excited. I've just noticed that this has been a problem with almost every artist I've worked with. And then I've had this problem. So to not talk about the problem, but just talk about the solution, which is what I've been doing for 10 years, it's opposite now. I'm like, okay, now I got to talk about the problem and then I can offer the solution. So I do have some tremendous solutions that I'm really focused and excited about. And we can do that in my private coaching or in my classes. So if you're interested, please do click the link, because I only have a few select spots left for private coaching. It fills up really fast. That's not just like a salesy thing. There's just so many hours in the day. And as a single mama, double parent, and business owner, there really is only so many hours in the day to do these like interactive one-on-one sessions. So if you're interested in that, it's super powerful and exciting way to heal, be creative, and also manifest. So it's a lot of the things I talk about on this channel. So if you're like, why is she talking about narcissism, manifestation, meditation, and acting words? You can find out what the inroads are for you in that.